Good afternoon, Facebook community. This is Paul from Blossoms Workforce Academy, and I am joined this afternoon by my good friend and colleague Marjorie Marcus from Senior Helpers.
Hi, everybody.
Our Facebook Live conversation today, and as you know, Blossoms Workforce Academy has been doing a series of Facebook Live videos covering various different topics over several weeks. And today's topic is all about employability. And the reason why I chose employability for this session is because we are coming up to 2019, a fresh year, a new year, and a lot of people will take this time to consider where they are currently within their jobs, and it may be the opportunity for them to seek something new. We also want to try and use this session to get you to know what opportunities there are for you with your employability skills that can help you get back into the workforce and what employers are looking for. So that is what we are about today. But first of all, I'm very excited. It's holiday season, so we've been attending a lot of holiday events recently, and we've been having a great time. Wouldn't you say, Marjorie?
Absolutely, and having fun decorating and getting gifts under the tree.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Christmas is all about time of giving. So I see these Facebook series as just another little gift from Blossoms Workforce Academy and Senior Helpers to our local community. Now, as always with Facebook Live videos, we obviously will take questions. So if you have a question, put it in the comments section. Marjorie and I can see the questions on the screen as they come up. But if you are watching this at a later date, don't worry. Still put the question in because I will have a look at it and respond to your question. We obviously want to give you the best information that we possibly can. Hello to those of you who are watching. Hello, Lindsay. Great to see you this afternoon. So let's take this opportunity and move forward. So I wanted to talk to you very briefly to begin with. When you're thinking about a new job role, we often start out with resumes and looking at our resume to see what our resume looks like, to see if it's going to be really appealing to a new employer. So I wanted to give you some hints and tips, and I know that Marjorie, from an employer's perspective, has got some hints and tips for you too. So first of all, I want to talk to you about the importance of really making your resume pop. It needs to pop. It needs to spring into life and spring off the page. And one of the most effective ways of doing that is to really personalize your resume with a picture, something that represents you at the top so that the employer gets to see you as a person. Generally, employers, when they're looking at resumes, they will spend probably 5 minutes just looking and cursory looking at your resume. Something really needs to stand out for them before they move on to the next resume. We are in a world where everything's upbeat, very, very quick turnaround. We need to get going. So they don't want to spend time looking at long paragraphs, long explanations, but we want to see something that is really going to make you stand out. So pictures, making sure that the bio brief is really going to pop and tell us about you. So use very dynamic language, use expression, really put across the person you are in that initial bio. Marjorie, we've talked before about resumes. What kind of, from your perspective and from Senior Helper's perspective, what do you look for in that resume?
Well, we go through a lot of caregiver resumes, probably 25 to 30 in a couple of days' time. And sometimes what I see, especially when they come from job boards, is that when we ask initial questions, the questions are, do you have experience? And people will say yes. And then I open the resume and it doesn't have any experience shown. Volunteer and family experience counts for caregivers. Maybe not in every business, but caregivers, definitely it does. So if you're saying you have 12 years caregiving experience, maybe it wasn't paid, maybe it was volunteer or it was family, make sure that that's represented on your on your resume, because a lot of times it'll say 12 years. I'll open the resume, it says nothing, and then I don't know what to think. It sort of gets put to the side and said, okay, well, we'll have to call and clarify. It's not going to be the first one that we call. So that's very important. And I always like to think of a resume as kind of a roadmap. Let it show your journey, like where you've gone. Let it people know where you're headed, what your idea of where you're going is. And I think that kind of brings in a personality of its own also.
Excellent. I really like that analogy of the roadmap. That was really great because, yeah, we all have been on a journey through our lives, through our education, through our work experience. And it's so important that we put that across to future employers. So I love that analogy. That's superb. When you are then, if you're successful with your resume, you'll normally get a call from the employer and they want to bring you in for an interview. Well, not only have you got to think about, well, what am I going to wear to the interview? Am I going to look really, really great for this interview? One of the biggest aspects of when I still do employ staff is I want to know that that person has researched us and found out about us. I guess that's really important to you as well.
Absolutely.
And senior helpers.
Absolutely.
We want to know that you've taken the time to go about researching, finding out what is the ethos, what is the mission statement, understanding really why you're going for this job as well. And by researching the employer, often that's the time you'll discover as a job seeker as to whether or not this is the right organization for you. I think we've always talked, and I know Marjorie and I have had these conversations, not only are we interviewing you, it's almost like this is an opportunity for you to interview us.
Absolutely, because every company has its own personality, and you want to make sure that you're going to work well with that company or that staff of that company as well, with their ideas. I think also very important is make sure in your own mind you understand why you want to do the job, because that's going to be a question that anybody's going to ask you. Why are you applying? So beforehand, kind of work it out, because sometimes, and I know it's true, it was even true for me as I went through the different opportunities that I had, is how did I get on this path? Why am I here? What, other than financially, are there any other reasons why I'm doing it? And especially in caregiving, that's a very important part of it.
Absolutely, definitely. We want to know that your motivation for being there at that interview is really important to us. You know, that's why we want that passion. We want to see that passion and Absolutely. That drive and that commitment. So talking about, you've got to the interview stage, so you're in interview, and naturally we've already spoken about what we want to see. But I want to give you some hints and tips around some of the questions that you might be asked in an interview. And one of the questions Marjorie has already brought up was, you know, why you want this job. You know, what is your motivation? But other questions that generally come up in interviews are what was the aspiration to do this? So not only your motivation, but what aspirations do you have, not only for now and getting this job, but also for the future. So what future aspirations do you have? We all want to see longevity from our employees. We just don't want to see a revolving door situation where employees come and go. I know that, you know, my experience as senior helpers and within my own organization, we try and value the staff as much as we possibly can because we want them to stay. We want that longevity within the organization. So think about what your aspirations are and your development opportunities are as well, so that you can answer a question on that really full. Like, well, I want to go on to be a manager, I want to go on to be a scheduler, or I want to go on.
Or a nurse.
Or
we have a lot of caregivers who say they're going to nursing school or they want to become nurses. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, in the role we play in our community is very much around healthcare. So we do see a lot of people come through, like Marjorie said, they're going to go on to be nurses. Hopefully some may go on to be doctors or OTs or PTs. And this is a really good grounding for that. And so our goal is to to give people skills. So it's essential that interviews really come across positively. Remember, interviews aren't always necessarily about what verbally we say either. It's about how we present our body language. Are we a closed person? So we're showing very closed behavior, or are we an open person who's very expressive? Because we want to connect. The employer wants to connect with the employee, not just have somebody who's there kind of parrot fashioning off answers that they may have used in other interview situations. We want to embrace you as an employee. So make sure you're seen very confidently, very upright, very open, very honest with your answers.
Absolutely.
Work ethic. Work ethic is really, really important to all employers in today's society. And when we talk about work ethic, we are talking about attendance, punctuality, your behavior in the workplace. Okay, so a lot of employers are now going to look for questions within interviews that are going to tease that information out of you. How do you manage your time? How do you organize your family life and your work life? They're all questions which employers will ask because they want to know what level of commitment, are you going to be somebody who's going to be arriving on time? And I'm guessing, Marjorie, from your perspective with your caregivers, that they're very much in the community working, lone working.
Right.
So for you, you need to have that trust in
Right.
them.
And communication. Communication is one of the biggest things that we look for other than caregiving skills. And there are ways to communicate that when you're being interviewed. Looking at your phone while you're being interviewed is not one of the big skills that we look for. In fact, a lot of times we'll collect people's cell phones before they go into the interview process, just because I understand the addiction to the phone. But it's very important to have a two-way communication with the office to be a successful caregiver. The other thing that I'd just like to touch on, a question that we ask a lot of times, we ask about failures. What was a difficult situation you dealt with? Or what was a failure? What happened and how did you deal with it? Because that lets us know about who you are and how you deal with things. Because let's face it, there are bumps in any road. So again, with the analogy of the maps and the roads, but there are always bumps, and how do you deal with those? That's a very important thing because we're a people-to-people company. There are always going to be trials and tribulations. How do you deal with that? That tells us a lot about your character.
Absolutely, and it also lets us know as employers about how you're going to react to policies and procedures and how you're going to respond to policies and procedures within the organisation, which is key because we need staff who are going to understand those policies and also enact those policies when those policies need to come about. So you briefly touched upon the recruitment process for senior helpers. I'd really like to draw out more about senior helpers. So Marjorie, could you tell us what senior helpers does, what your recruitment process looks like? So if we've got any budding caregivers out there, they can get in touch.
Sure. So Senior Helpers is a private duty care company. As our name says, we help seniors. But really, we can help anybody over the age of 18 if they need help. But primarily, it is seniors. We do a lot of work with veterans as well. We send caregivers, either HH home health aides or certified nursing assistants into the home. We help with everything from companionship to help with activities of daily living like bathing, dressing, medication reminders. There's some light housekeeping and laundry. Those are all typical types of things that we do in the home, and our caregivers do go in the home fairly unsupervised. We do have a director of nursing on staff who will help with supervision if there's questions, if there's any training that needs to be done. We expect our caregivers to be able to pass a criminal background check, so they need to get fingerprinted. They need to have CPR, which Paul through Blossoms is happy to help anybody that doesn't have that. They need to have some Alzheimer's training, some information about HIV/AIDS. There are a few other background checks that they have to go through, but we have a whole list of that. And if anybody has any question, they can just, call us or call Paul, and we're happy to help. We are also offering different in-services during the year, which again, through Blossoms Workforce Academy, we will be giving that to our caregivers as well. Once you apply, we contact you, you come in for an interview. You also have to take a 104 question test, which is a home health competency test from the state. It's true and false and multiple choice. You have to pass that with about 85%. And as I said, the background check, motor vehicle check. So when you come in, if you have any of the classes, if you've taken them before, bring your certificates. It speeds the process up. If you have CPR, bring it in with you, your driver's license, your social security card. Bring all those with you so that we can start the process. And once we get through all that process, you come in for orientation. We teach you a little more about senior helpers. We teach you a Senior GEMS program, which is a program on Alzheimer's dementia. And then you fill out our paperwork. We talk to you about our policies and procedures at that time. So it can take anywhere from a week to many weeks, depending on how prepared you are when you come in.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I have to say, the Senior GEMS program is a wonderful program. And I know that Marjorie talks really highly. It's Teepa Snow, isn't it?
Teepa Snow. And actually, you can go onto YouTube, and if you Google, if you look for Teepa Snow or under Senior GEMS, there are YouTube videos on it if you're interested to see what it is.
Really, really fantastic, guys. You really need to take a good look at that. And it's the work that the senior helpers have done with that program is absolutely, and as an potential employee of organizations, when you're going out there and you're doing your research, remember we talked about research of organizations, whoever you're going to go to interview with, you really want to look for how that organization is giving back to the community, how it's sharing knowledge and building best practice. The example being here, senior helpers with the Senior GEMS program, with the work that they do. That's an excellent example of if I was looking for a role that I would be thinking, wow, they're really invested.
Right. And one thing I want to say is we couldn't do what we do without caregivers, without good caregivers. And we appreciate them. We do things all through the year, not just trainings and like free CPR, different updates, but we do little things just to show you that we appreciate you, because as I said, we just couldn't do what we do without our angels. Really, that's what I consider them.
Absolutely. The backbone
Absolutely.
To what we do. To any care business are the staff that really are on. I always say they're on the bottom of the bottom, and they're out there. They're dealing with it for us. They're working so hard. But even though people say they're on the bottom, they're not. They're at the top. They're that backbone. Well, they are the.
I always liken it to. I always like to make images. So my image is, we have a warehouse, but if you have an empty warehouse, you're not going to get anywhere. So in our warehouse are our caregivers. If we didn't have you, we couldn't provide the services to our seniors or the people, our clients who need the help. So we just applaud you and appreciate you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I just want to touch back again on the work ethic perspective, and just thinking about where we want to see people driving forward is with like timeliness. If you think about working in the community with seniors or with adults over the age of 18, maybe you're working with somebody with an intellectual and developmental disability. And you may think to yourself, well, why is timeliness so important? Well, if you think about somebody with autism, if you are meant to be there at a scheduled time, you're meant to be there at 11 a.m. in the morning to take them, to support them, to do some shopping, and you don't turn up at 11 a.m., that the complexity of emotions that individual with autism might experience because you've not arrived at 11 a.m. can be immense. So when we're looking for staff who have got great work ethic, ethical practice, they know they're going to turn up at a specific time, they understand the complexities of individuals. That's just an example of why we look for work ethic. And similarly with our senior population, they rely on you. They may need you there specifically for assistance with medication because they're hungry and they want their meal, or simply because you are the only person that those individuals are going to see throughout the day. So work ethic is really so important to what we do when we think about employability.
And there is one other thing that's a big no, be honest. When somebody's being interviewed, don't say what you think they want to hear, because in the long run, it's not going to work. There have been people who come to us and they say, oh, we're available anytime to work. We need to work. And then we call them and say, okay, we have a case Tuesday and Thursday from 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And they'll say, oh, well, no, I have another job. I can't do those hours. And it's not something that just came up. They just didn't want to tell us because they were afraid that we weren't going to hire them. But if you keep telling us that you're busy, we're not going to reach out to you anymore. So it's better to be really honest about what your schedule is. If you can only work weekends, if you can only work every other Saturday, if it's, just be honest with what your availability is, because it'll be less frustrating for you and less frustrating for us. Because when we call you and you tell us you're not available because you're working another job and, oh, I forgot to tell you that, or I didn't mention it in the interview. Yet if we look at your application, it says you're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, then it's our time wasted and your time wasted as well. So, please be honest. It may not keep us, from hiring you. We just need to know really what your schedule is and what you're available to do.
Absolutely. Some great points there. I just want to remind everybody about certifications and qualifications. They're really, really important. And we are now a world of employers where we need certifications. It's sad, but we all have a regulator that we might be trying to work with, appease, that we have to keep up to date with. So we really look for those certifications. Now, naturally, I'm going to say come to Boston Workforce Academy.
And you should. He's really good.
Thank you, because we can offer you those certifications, as well as if you're a new person seeking new employment or you want to expand and challenge your future. We've got leadership classes, customer service classes. If you suddenly want to diversify, say you've worked in retail, but now you want to work in the hospitality industry, we do a great certified food protection manager class, which could get you into the hospitality section. There's lots of different classes that we offer that can really support your resume and support your future. So don't be worried about calling me and speaking with me about the opportunities that are available to you. There's also other local opportunities, especially here in Florida. We have locally Career Source Volusia Flagler. Career Source Volusia Flagler is an excellent resource for going out there and finding individuals to help build your resume. They do some great resume building classes, as well as they've got some online classes which they offer. There's lots that goes on within Career Source Volusia Flagler. Also, obviously helping you find work as well, especially if you've been unemployed for a long period of time. Go and see the guys at Career Source Volusia Flagler. Equally, not just Career Source, we've got United Way,
Goodwill.
We've got Goodwill here in the land as well. So there's opportunities out there. Don't feel like you're in isolation, because you're never in isolation. And you can always call me and I can signpost you. If I can't help you directly, I can signpost you to the people that you need to speak to.
And if you'd like to talk about caregiving opportunities, or you just have questions about really what that entails, you're welcome to contact our office, which is Senior Helpers DeLand. You can look on our website, which is www.seniorhelpers.com/DeLand. It'll talk a little bit about what we do, and you can contact us through there.
And that's a great resource. Yeah, like you said, you don't necessarily need to immediately be applying for a job. Just to get that advice and that guidance, that's a stepping stone. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is partnership working in this community, and what one can't help with, somebody else might be able to help with, and even if we're just there as a support network to people, that's equally as important. So you gave us some contact points there. What's for people who are interested in becoming caregivers or want to apply for some positions with you, what's the best number for them to call, and what do they need to, is there a specific time that they need to call?
No, you can call Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. The phone number is 386-736-2227. You can ask for Dawn or Tiffany, and either of my office staff will be happy to help you.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Blossom's Workforce Academy, and I have the pleasure. I don't have to go far to my office. We have changed locations. You've probably seen our status updates on the Blossom's Workforce Academy page. So I'm now here in the office at Senior Helpers. A wonderful office.
He's a wonderful office mate.
Thank you, Marjorie. I love it. I enjoy it. But I'm right here, 145 East Rich Avenue, Suite E, and that's downtown DeLand, 32724. And once you've got that address, you'll know where Senior Helpers is, because we're right here.
Absolutely.
Our office number is 386-873-6064. That's 386-873-6064. And what I want to tell you about Blossom's Workforce Academy is I'm a 24/7 instructor in a 24/7 academy. I always have my phone nearby. If I'm teaching or I'm in a meeting, I will naturally call you back from a message if you leave a message. But I'm there. I'm not a 9 till 5 guy. Marjorie is not a 9 till 5 gal. We've worked in healthcare for a lot of years. We know it's not that kind of gig, if you like. So if you have any questions, if you want to sign up for training, if you want to ask me questions, just give me a call, 386-873-6064. We're also in the process of overhauling our website, www.blossomsllc.org. Get my teeth in. See, I've had too much Christmas cheer already.
Gotta watch that eggnog.
Gotta watch that eggnog. Absolutely. But we are updating the website all the time. And whilst Marjorie is here, I really want to, for all of our healthcare professional friends that may watch this video, we want to remind everybody that Marjorie, Tammy from Haven, and myself, Blossom's Workforce Academy, we have COPE, and COPE stands for
Community Outreach and Professional Education.
Absolutely, which is a superb networking group that we have on the east side of Volusia as well as the west side of Volusia. The east side meetings are on the second Wednesday of every month, and the west side are on the third Wednesday of every month.
Correct.
Our location for the COPE east side are at the Stonewood Bar and Grill, and our west side, we are actually in the process of just confirming the details of a potential new venue for 2019, which will keep everybody updated on the COPE Facebook page. But that's a real good opportunity for everybody to get together. And if you're a job seeker, if you currently work in the healthcare sector, it's a great opportunity to come along and network with people, and just find out what's going on. With all of our healthcare professional friends and colleagues as well, we also do the lunch and learns at the Haven Hospice site here in DeLand. That's once a month on the
Every
4th.
other month.
Every
Just
other month.
changed it.
Every other month. We just changed it. Well corrected. Thank you,
You're
Marjorie.
welcome.
And that's on the third or fourth?
Third Friday of the month.
Third Friday of the month. And we post those all on our code website. I want to share these opportunities with you because it's really important. Because there are a lot of networking, educational events out there locally. And as the treasurer of the Florida Assisted Living Association as well, it would be remiss of me not to tell you about the FALA meetings, which we have on the second Thursday of every month at the Cloisters in Deland. So if you want to come along to that, please do. Thank you, John, for your wonderful comments. We really appreciate that. Thank you. It's lovely for you to join us. Marjorie, is there anything you want to add about senior helpers? Is there, coming up to the holidays, is there, and people or seniors being on their own at home?
I just want to remind everybody out there that really being independent doesn't mean being alone, that we can have someone come out, just help with the things that are difficult day to day, make your life a little easier, and really make you more independent in the long run, because it either frees you up or helps you do things that you used to enjoy that you'd like to still continue to enjoy.
And just in summary, before we leave you, don't forget, build those resumes. Make sure they're clear, succinct, that they pop, that they show your personality. Remember, those employers take a real quick cursory look, so they need to be sharp, they need to be dynamic. Interviews, make sure you research your organizations, that you prepare for some of the questions like Marjorie's explored and that I've explored with you. Make sure that you look great. Obviously, we want to see that you're dressed to impress. That's really key. If you want to come along with flashing bulbs on because it's Christmas, then we'll take that. That's absolutely wonderful. And remember, training is key. Training and education. Get yourself well prepared. All right. Well, I want to take this opportunity to wish everybody a happy holiday, whatever celebration, whatever faith, whatever culture. This is a time for celebration, and we send out our warmest wishes to absolutely everybody. Marjorie, do you want to say good night and God bless?
Yes, good night. Best wishes to all, and a prosperous and successful New Year to everybody.
I want to thank Marjorie Marcus from Senior Helpers for joining us on our Facebook Live. It's been an absolute pleasure. And for being my office mate and office buddy. And we will see you again in 2019 for another Facebook Live. Happy holidays and Happy New Year, everybody, from Blossom Workforce Academy and Senior Helpers.
And good night, and hope you weather the storm.
Absolutely. Keep safe on those roads.
That's right.
Take care, everybody. Good night.
Good night.